What it do? What it do? You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Most definitely hit that bell icon, notification bell that alerts you all content that I drop that will hit your devices or hit my YouTube channel. Also hit the thumbs up, aka the like button. YouTube appreciate that. S.L.R Media TV appreciate that. Also make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, I need everybody to double back. Go to my second YouTube channel, S.L.R Sports News TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment over there. You like the content, you like the work that I'm putting in. Make sure you hit the cash app. It's pinned in the ticker. You're looking for the like button. It's the three buttons at the top. Hit the three buttons. You'll see the like button. The like button. Share the live feed. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my future subscribers. You see the title. You see the title. In Shedeur Sanders, we trust. Perfect timing. Listen, I'm going to just get straight to the point. We're going to get straight into the content. Cleveland Browns, stop BSing around. Stop BSing around. Just picture this, Cleveland. Just picture this. Why even start a 40-year-old quarterback, Joe Flacco, that you know is not going to take you to the playoffs or win your Super Bowl? So why waste your time? Why waste your time? Why start a 40-year-old quarterback that can't even elude the rush? As soon as he throw a pick or get sacked, they gonna start booing them, and they're gonna be wanting Shedeur. So why even go through this, Cleveland? Go ahead and make Shedeur Sanders the day one quarterback. Name him the starter. Like, come on. Like, this shit is stupid. It don't even make sense. Joe Flacco. Listen, Joe Flacco would not even be a starter on any other team right now. He wouldn't. He'd be a backup. I mean, come on, Cleveland, bro. You look stupid going out there trotting out old ass Joe Flacco, 40 years old, that can't lure rush. And you seen what he did in Indianapolis last year. If he was any good with the Colts would have re-signed him. Like, come on, man. Like, stop the bullshit, man. You got to go with the X factor. I told you months and months and last year, Shedeur Sanders has the it factor. Just like I said, Arch Manning got the it factor. Shedeur Sanders has the it factor. You got to start him. You seen what he produced against the Carolina Panthers. You seen the fan base that he bought. Cleveland Browns don't travel. They don't because they're sorry. They're sorry. But now they got a reason to travel. You done Cleveland Browns done gained a new fan base with Shedeur Sanders. Starting Joe Flacco, you weren't gaining nothing. You got to start the generation of talent. He's the X factor. Listen, he's 101. He's probably top 5 marketed quarterback in the NFL. Cleveland, you need Shedeur to start. You need marketing. You need to be talked about. The only reason why I'm talking about you, Cleveland Browns, is because of Shedeur. Because Shedeur is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. And other than that, I wouldn't be talking about you, Cleveland. But I'm telling you right now, you better listen to S.L.R. You better start Shedeur. Matter of fact, Shedeur should be starting against the Eagles in the next preseason. Shedeur should be getting all the reps. Shedeur should be playing all third quarters. Hell, the fourth. I don't even need to see Dylan Gabriel. I don't need to see him because you know why? We seen him in all season. We seen him in OTAs. We seen him in training camp. He's trash and he's short. He's short. He's the shortest quarterback in the league. And I hate to say he's shorter than Bryce Young. We don't need to see Dylan Gabriel what we already know about Dylan Gabriel. Come on. It's Shedeur Sanders. Perfect timing. Like, stop bullshitting around. Like, stop. He's the most talked about quarterback in the league. He's the only 5th-round quarterback to be talked about like he's the number 1 pick. ESPN is getting their ratings from Shedeur. Fox is getting their ratings from Shedeur. Like, come on. He is it. He's the hot ticket. He's the hot stock. You better buy in. You better buy in. Cleveland, buy in. Perfect timing. Stop playing. You see what he did to Carolina? Swiss cheesed them up with no reps, hardly. Stop playing. Let's get into the content. Let's get into the content.
This just in from the NFL. The Browns expected to start Shedeur Sanders at quarterback in their preseason opener against the Panthers, according to Cleveland.com. It's more out of necessity than anything. That's because most of their quarterbacks are hurt right now. Even Sanders has missed some time with a sore shoulder. He's been taking fourth-string reps at training camp, but Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel have hamstring injuries, and Cleveland doesn't want to play 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who is likely going to be their starter when the season begins. So Sanders is reportedly going to get the nod to start on Friday night.
Tonight, Shedeur Sanders made the entire National Football League look like a whole bunch of petty fools. In some cases, racist fools. In many cases, Dion despising fools. Tonight at Carolina, Shedeur Sanders made all those teams that had 143 chances to draft him before he went 144th. He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns, who finally took him in the 5th round. I'm convinced only because the owner, the publicity-starved owner, just wanted some more shock value publicity. Oh, we took him because he knew what would happen, that the national media would descend on Browns camp, make it a story that might distract the rest of the world from the mess that Jimmy Haslam has made of the Cleveland Browns, especially after he gave $230 million to Deshaun Watson. Good Lord, have mercy. I said before last college season started that Shedeur Sanders should go number 1 overall. It was either he or Travis, 1-2, 2-1, and I would go every time with the quarterback because he is the quarterback. He is him. He is the son of the greatest cornerback and, to me, the greatest athlete ever. Greatness flows through his veins, and I said it all year long. He should go 1 in the draft, ahead of Cam Ward. My friend Mel Kiper began to echo, not me, but just echo that emotion, that point of view. I had Mel on my show, the Skip Bayless show, ahead of the draft, and Mel stood tall and strong for Shedeur, preached to my choir, and as I preached to Mel's choir, then Mel went off on draft night when he slid and failed to be taken by the entire National Football League, including Tom Brady's team. What was it, 5 times? Tom Brady's Raiders could have drafted him. You can't tell me that Tom Brady didn't say no to Shedeur. They didn't like his attitude. They didn't like his interviews. And I kept saying, watch the freaking tape. You could just watch it on TV. As you saw again tonight, I was not at all surprised by tonight at Carolina. Shedeur can flat out play the hardest position in sports to play. He can flat out play quarterback with poise and command and touch and accuracy and toughness and clutch toughness. There was no tougher quarterback in America the last 2 years as he played for Colorado with little to no protection the first year and only below average protection last year. Shedeur took a beating and just kept jumping up and making another completion. He led the nation in percentage of completions. He led the nation. And I kept saying, what is not to love about Shedeur? Arm strength? Are you kidding? Did you watch him at Colorado? He has effortless arm strength. He doesn't have like a Josh Allen cannon, but who does? Did Tom Brady? Heck no. Shedeur, sometimes mentored by Tom Brady. I think that was all for show on Brady's part, but sometimes mentored by Brady, actually reminds me of Brady in his feel for playing the position. Tonight didn't surprise me at all because Shedeur Sanders thrown into the fire for the Cleveland Browns, who now have 6 quarterbacks in camp, but only 2 healthy? Tyler Huntley and Shedeur. They had to play Shedeur because they had no choice. And you can't tell me that Kevin Stefanski, it sort of reminded me of John Elway and John Fox back in 2011 with the Tebow that they did not want. They inherited Tebow from the Josh McDaniels regime. Josh took him 5th overall. I said I'd take him at the bottom of the first round, just let him run his college offense, and he will win games, will Tim Tebow. And in his second year, after the team fell to 1-4 and they didn't have any other choice, they sort of said, well, let's let him play at Miami. He'll fall on his face mask, and then we can tell all those Tebow zealots out there, we gave him his chance. He can't play. It's over. And Tebow goes down and wins it in overtime in Miami, and the rest is obviously AFC West history because he took those Denver Broncos all the way to the AFC West title. And Shedeur is much more talented than Tim Tebow. Tebow was a force of nature, but so is Shedeur. Did you see how the team responded to him tonight? He left after 3 quarters and 45-ish snaps, I think it was. It's a lot of snaps for a preseason game, but did you see how the team responded? He looked so comfortable. He made them comfortable. He has such great body language because his father is Deion Sanders. Neon Deion, Coach Prime is his father, his teacher, his coach from 5 years old up was Deion Sanders until now. That was the first game he's ever played without his father coaching him. And he looked effortlessly comfortable. He showed you the whole repertoire. He's got a deep bag. He can make all the throws. Threw 2 touchdown passes in the first half to Caden Davis. Remember, Shedeur got thrown into a fire with very few training camp reps. Certainly he got, I think, no first-team reps. So he starts the game with second and third teamers, and the first 2 series were against Carolina's starting defense. And Shedeur winds up throwing a touchdown pass to Caden Davis, who's bounced around the league as a former undrafted free agent. He can run a little bit, but he throws a touchdown pass. Dropped a dime between 3 defenders to Caden Davis for the first touchdown, and then he goes back later to Caden Davis on a blitz pickup by his back where Shedeur has to slide right, plant, throw, low laser. Doesn't have an arm. Did you see the low laser? Did you see the mustard on it? Did you see the velocity? Hitting Caden Davis right there just above the turf. Touchdown number 2. Led him on another long drive in the third quarter for touchdown number 3. 21-7 it was when he left. He can win a lot of football games. He looked to me a lot like a number 1 overall pick tonight because that's what he should have been. It was the biggest disgrace in the history of the National Football League that somehow the sheep-think NFL wanted to teach Shedeur and in turn Deion a lesson for how he interviewed. I don't know, how he handled it, how he carried himself, that he was the highest paid NIL college player ever. He had a couple of luxury cars. He had the Rolls and whatever else he had. He had a Tesla. He had the Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah, he earned it. Did you see the stands in Boulder every time he took the field? It was a lot of Deion, but it was a lot of Shedeur. He showed you against high-level competition, Big 12 competition, again and again and again without protection. he can throw it as sweetly as you want to throw it, any way you want to throw it. And he could, I kept saying last year, he can move. There's no statue in pocket. Did you see the first scramble for 10 yards tonight when he escaped and hit the Jets? He's not Deion, obviously, but he can move. He can run. Did you see the scramble, the elusivity of he escaped and escaped and escaped, and he went backwards, and he does too much of the go backwards, but he kept escaping. They couldn't get him on the ground. He plays strong in the pocket. He's not the biggest kid at 6'2"-ish. What is he, maybe 205? Not the biggest kid. He just plays strong in the pocket. Trust me, plays Roethlisberger strong in the pocket. It's hard to get him on the ground. He escaped, and then he should have thrown it away. But remember, he runs out of bounds because he's trying to make a play, because he's going to have a hard time making the team in Cleveland. In Cleveland, they well could be the worst team in the league. Flacco and Kenny Pickett and Deshaun's still there. They drafted Dylan Gabriel, 100 spots ahead of Shedeur. I know Dylan Gabriel inside out. I'm a University of Oklahoma fan. I know he finished at Oregon, but I watched him for 2 years at OU. Heck, I watched him back at Central Florida, and he doesn't have Shedeur's arm. He's not bad. He was a really good college quarterback. Shedeur's going to be a really good pro quarterback if somebody has the guts to give him the shot. If somebody has the guts to go against the now conventional wisdom in the NFL that no, not Deion, not Shedeur, he can't. Deion's going to be involved. And then all the coaches were scared to death. If you draft Shedeur, Deion's going to be the stage father, and the next thing you know, your owner's going to want to hire Deion to be the head coach, to coach Shedeur. That's why they all fought against him. No, there's no doubt Stefanski fought against him. He didn't want Shedeur. Stop it. No way. Shedeur is not at this moment, but he will be better than Joe Flacco. He will be better than Pickett. He already is better than Dylan Gabriel. Heck, right now, what's left of Deshaun, he's better than Deshaun. I used to love Deshaun in Houston for a while until he had his off-field issues that just wrecked him psychologically, wrecked his confidence, wrecked his psyche. Shedeur, never been in trouble for anything. There's no issue there. He's full of himself. I got it. And some of his, I heard all the stories, some of the things that he said to some of the teams about how great he's going to be. He just believes it. He grew up that way. Look who his father was. You want to talk about confidence. There's never been a more confident athlete in the history of the world than his father. And his father taught him to be you and be me. Be who I am. Be who we are. You're a Sanders. You came from me. Did you see his entry tonight? His entrance to the, off the bus, up the tunnel at Carolina. He was the Reaper. He had that kid, Tony Brown, was helping him with his entry, carrying the boombox for him, the Reaper's sickle. Yeah. When you see what Deion tweeted, again, I love that because that's who he is. He wasn't going to shrink up and close up, play their game, play the way that he's supposed to be as a potential franchise quarterback. Nope. He's Shedeur. If he couldn't back it up, I wouldn't back him up. But he can flat out back it up as he did from snap number one. I know he missed a couple throws tonight. He was going to. But by the third quarter, he's playing with third and fourth stringers. Third and fourth. They're just trying to get through the night. The first preseason game. He backed it up. I love the entrance. I love, you could tell Njoku talking to Shedeur on the side. You could tell all the quarterbacks like him. He's very likable because he's a good kid. And he will fight on the football field. Maybe he comes across as a little goofy silly sometimes in his interviews. Listen, you want to talk about clutch? Go look at the end of the Baylor game and tell me about clutch. Saw what Wester did last night. Go look at the touchdown pass he caught on whatever it was, one was third down, then they had to repeat it and he had to throw it again. Go look at it. Just clutch tough. I kept asking, what's not to love about Shedeur? Oh, Dion, he's too flashy, splashy, dashy, too this, too that. You can't operate like that as a quarterback. This kid can. I believed in him from the start. I stuck by him. I've had a whole lot of people tell me I'm wrong. Don't like his attitude, this and that. Did you see him tonight? So what's the end of Shedeur now? Where is he? I don't know. I just hope somebody out there watch that, puts the tape in on Monday and watches it again. Somebody in need of a quarterback and says, you know what? If we could pick him up for a 4th round pick, we should, just for the season, next couple of weeks, we should go pick him up and see what he could do for us. He's the future in Cleveland, but I just don't know if the Browns are smart enough to see that. He's obviously going to command more reps in practice, but preseason reps, I don't know. I just don't know if he's moved their needle in their brains. All I know is he can play. Somebody out there needs to snap out of it and just slash through the grain that is the NFL, the Dion Shedeur hating NFL, and just say, no, we're going to do this. You want to win? You want to win games? You want a franchise quarterback? You want the truth at quarterback? Not some desperate mystery man at quarterback that you can never trust. You want the truth? This kid's the truth. He will change your whole franchise, the confidence level. The body language will change if he takes your field and commands your huddle. This is the hardest position to play, and he commands it. He owns it. He owned it tonight. So many big throws. There was a 3rd down throw, 3rd and long out of the end zone. Just a rocket. You kidding me? Tell me I'm wrong about Shedeur Sanders, National Shameful League.
Around like the Browns. I just feel like overall, it was a different sport. I feel like it was a sport, even though it's a preseason game. Typically, people don't take those too much serious, but like that's our Super Bowl. That's each and every player's Super Bowl. So the change is a family thing. It's a family. You got to be able to go to war with each and every guy and understand like we're not playing for ourselves here. We playing for each other. So. Not making selfish mistakes, not doing that type of stuff, getting through reads, handing the ball off, doing what you got to do. Everybody do their job, and that's how we believe in one another.
Hey, Shedeur, the fact that you played so many plays into the 4th quarter versus the way it's gone in camp with the reps being split, how did that help your comfort level just in flowing with the game?
Well, I say I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable, so that's what it is. I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I felt like me out there, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play calling. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall than carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already, that I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course, we practice on and we talk about. And I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy and we overall going to finish it up. And that's going to be a point of emphasis going into this next week. But, I was just thankful just to share that moment with everybody.
Shedeur, how do you think you handled the nerves and the adrenaline right off the bat?
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't nervous, so I didn't really have too much adrenaline. It was just getting comfortable. That's all it is. Like it's plenty games before. Like I was nervous, but I felt like I knew it. I knew the answers to the test. So it's like when you feel unprepared, then when you don't feel like you're ready for the moment. I know I'm ready for the moment. Did I play up to par? No, I don't feel like I did. But overall, the main goal was to win, and that's honestly what we did. I don't even have Twitter on my phone. Yeah, I get reckless on there.
Have you talked to him since the end of the game yet, or have you?
I texted him before the game. I called him. He didn't answer. I said, "This is why I just don't call you." He didn't answer the phone. He didn't answer the phone when I called him. But they have their own fall camp going on and everything. So I forgive him a little bit. But he sent me a voice message that's pretty cool overall. I don't know if it's still on my phone, but overall, like I'm just thankful, just for the opportunity. And
There was so much talk about you not getting.
I got you, Nick.
There was so much talk, especially leading up to this week when it was announced that you were going to get the start, that maybe you were not prepared enough because of the limited practice reps, and you kind of alluded to it. But what would you kind of say to that message? You previously camp that maybe people think that you weren't put in a position to succeed because of the limited practice reps and the way.
I mean, I think overall in life, I don't want anybody to make excuses. I feel like making excuses for whatever situation. It's like you ask God for something and it's there, then you're going to complain about it. So it's like it's 2 ways you could look at it. You could look at it and be thankful and take full advantage of the opportunity, or you could look at it like, dang, this is what I've been asking for. I'm not prepared. So I'll say I've been able to sleep good at night, knowing I was playing. I didn't know I was playing to, I don't know, one of the days that was close. And then I just prepared as normal. But it was definitely that switch and it kicked in. And when you out there on the field, it just is different. Like, you understand, ball's ball. But ball never been a problem for me. It's, whatever optics or whatever everybody makes up after outside the game. But in the game, y'all kind of know who I am.
Did you feel like
When did you feel yourself settle in? Do you remember when? Was there a particular throw? You made a lot of, a couple really great throws. When did you feel yourself really settling in?
I can't be specific. I don't know specifically when. I just know the feeling overall. So, and that's really the most routes I threw to all the receivers. So I really didn't know how someone came out the breaks and everything. So that's why I feel like point of emphasis this week is, just be prepared even more. Because I feel like I was straight. But I feel like to be where I want to go, I don't think that was good enough.
You just threw those 2 touchdown passes.
I don't even remember the play, honestly, right now.
Why do you say you weren't up to par?
I mean, incompletions. There's incompletions out there. I know that I know, I'm able to complete. That's the only thing.
You remember that one-handed, or that pass he threw in he caught with one hand
Yeah.
downfield? I guess, what did you see on that play, and to see him make that catch, I guess, what was that like? Because you had a connection with him over the course of camp.
Yeah, I'm just excited for all of them. I gifted a lot of receivers the prime DT96s. A couple of them had them on. So I just gifted a couple of them, like the main receivers going into this game. I gifted them some cleats. Some wore them, some didn't. But I was like, okay, this is just my little appreciation gift to them. Because they don't be having a lot in stock. So I couldn't do everybody. I wish I could. But, yeah, it's great knowing that he's able to come out here and put on the show how he's supposed to, and how we know he can. But, we still need a couple more receivers and them to be able to get off. But the way we was able to run the ball and how the running backs were running, they was running physical, and the line was making their blocks and not letting people get back there. So I was thankful.
That one to Luke, did you know that it was going to left your hand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a feeling. The first one I had to 22, it was like, but it wasn't me, you know. So that's when it's like you know it like internally. I don't know. What do you do for a hobby? Like, what's your hobbies? But you know when you're gonna swing a good one. You know when you swing it, it's gonna come out right. So, you know, that's it.
Hey, Shedeur, when you think about the open competition, as it's called, how do you process that? And do you feel like you'll really have a fair shot to maybe win the job?
See, I just think about when I get out there, just doing what I got to do. You know, everything else is not in my hands, so I worry about it. That's like, I don't know. I just don't think that deep into everything because it's nothing you're going to be able to control. So why put energy in something that you can't control? So the most you could do is, hey, whenever you get your opportunity, when your numbers call, you know, perform and at least do the bare minimum and win the game. So that's what I feel like we did today. And it's definitely things I'm able to grow off of.
Last one from Mary
How
Kay.
were you able to remain so patient? You know, we look over there and we see you sometimes on another field over there by yourself and taking all the fourth team reps. You haven't gotten a rep yet with the first team offense. How were you able to remain so patient? And did you know that once the reins came off, you were it was go time for you?
I mean, God's patient with us as humans. We mess up at times, but I don't feel like he throws us away as individuals. So it's different things and different life lessons, you know, you got to go through. And I haven't went through this situation, you know, that I'm in ever. So it's really just a test, you know. I feel like from God or whoever it's from, it's just a test. But anyway, I'm just thankful that I was able to see the day of light and get out there and be able to play. So, you know, they didn't have to let me play. So anything and everything, you know, is good for me. So then, you know, the kids looking up, the kids definitely inspire me, of course, more. It's a lot of people incarcerated that definitely talk to their friends to talk to me to tell me my friend from jail was, you know, watching you play and watching everything that's going on. So it's just like the world, you know, I say is so small and everybody sees everything. And I'm thankful to be able to inspire people through everything. Because a lady just told me now, when I'm having a bad day, I just think about Shedeur and I'm saying, I'm going to act like Shedeur. You know, so like that's so cool, you know, to me that I'm some form of inspiration.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. Oh.
From depth chart afterthought to the last man standing. Shedeur Sanders shines as Browns suffer 2 more injury blows. In the NFL, opportunity rarely knocks politely. More often, it barges in when someone else is limping off the field. That was the case on Friday night in Charlotte, where the Cleveland Browns preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers turned into a showcase for rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Not by design, but by necessity. The game was supposed to be a measured step in the Browns' quarterback competition, a low-stakes August trial for young arms and veteran legs alike. Instead, thanks to a string of injuries, it became Shedeur's stage. And the rookie out of Colorado, taken in the 5th round at number 144 overall, didn't just hold the spotlight, he owned it. The week before, doubt and debate, Shedeur Sanders arrived at Bank of America Stadium carrying more than just a helmet and a playbook. All week, questions swirled about head coach Kevin Stefanski's decision to put the rookie in such a high-profile preseason slot. ESPN analyst Louis Riddick even hinted it could be a setup for failure, a way to expose Sanders to live NFL speed before he was ready. Inside the Browns facility, Stefanski had already tipped his hand. This game wasn't for the veterans. Many starters would be watching in street clothes. Some were being rested, others were nursing minor injuries. In other words, this was going to be a night for the younger legs and fresher faces. It also meant that Sanders would be without the full protection of the Browns' first-string offensive line or the benefit of the starting receiver core. If it went badly, critics would have plenty of ammunition. The injury wave hits before kickoff. The Browns came into the night already shorthanded at quarterback. Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel were both sidelined with hamstring issues. Joe Flacco, the presumptive starter, was a healthy scratch, kept out for precautionary reasons. That left Shedeur Sanders as the only healthy quarterback in uniform with a real chance to play extended snaps. The Browns' injury situation was already tense, but after the game, it took another hit. Mary Kay Cabot broke the bad news on X, formerly Twitter. #Browns Luke Floria suffered a hamstring injury during the #Panthers game, and Lamirian James is in the concussion protocol. 2 more names on the injury list. 2 more depth chart headaches for Stefanski. The depth chart shuffles overnight. When training camp opened, the Browns' quarterback plan looked balanced, even crowded. Flacco would mentor. Pickett would push. Gabriel, a 3rd-round pick, would learn and compete. Sanders, a 5th-rounder, would develop quietly, taking 3rd and 4th team reps and watching from the sideline. But Dillon Gabriel wasn't just competing. He was running with the ones in certain sessions, drawing criticism from local reporters like Daryl Reuter, who suggested the rookie QB was getting chances he hadn't yet earned. Meanwhile, Sanders couldn't even sniff consistent work with the regular offense. That all changed Friday night. Shedeur's moment arrives. From the first snap, Sanders looked like a player intent on proving that the only thing holding him back was opportunity. His first touchdown came in the 2nd quarter, a precise 7-yard dart to Caden Davis. The pass threaded between 2 defenders, the kind of tight window throw that makes coaches lean forward in their seats. It wasn't just about arm strength, it was about timing, touch, and trust in the route. By halftime, the Browns led 14-7, thanks in part to Sanders' second highlight reel moment. A scramble out of pressure and a strike to rookie wideout Luke Floria, who hauled in a spectacular one-handed grab. Later, Sanders and Davis connected again for another touchdown, capping a 2-score night for the rookie QB. The final line. When the final whistle blew, Sanders had completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. The stat line was clean. The performance was poised. And the context. A rookie, making his debut, carrying the QB load on a night when his team's depth evaporated, made it even more impressive. From camp shadows to preseason spotlight, it's easy to forget how far Sanders had to climb just to get here. Early in camp, he was buried in the rotation, watching others take the reps that would normally go to a developing prospect. But rather than sulk, he stayed locked in. It doesn't make me feel down, or it doesn't make me feel left out or anything, because I know who I am as a person. I know who I am as an individual, and I know what I could bring to this team, Sanders told reporters afterward. That self-assurance wasn't bluster. It was the quiet confidence of a player who knows his skill set will eventually speak for itself, if given the chance. The Stefanski calculus. For Kevin Stefanski, the night was a mixed bag. On one hand, his rookie quarterback delivered. On the other, the team's injury list grew longer. Luke Floria's hamstring injury was particularly painful given his chemistry with Sanders. Lamirian James entering concussion protocol added to a secondary already stretched thin. The Browns' depth chart is now in flux. Flacco remains the frontrunner to start, but his absence Friday was a reminder of how quickly a healthy veteran can become a game-time decision. Pickett and Gabriel's hamstrings could linger into the season. And if that happens, the Browns might need Sanders to be more than just a developmental project. The bigger picture, a rookie's first test. Sanders' debut was more than just a preseason box score. It was a glimpse into what he can do when the game speeds up, the pocket closes, and the stakes, even in August, feel real. It's also a reminder that, in the NFL, narratives can flip overnight. A week ago, Sanders was the 4th name in a quarterback room of 5. Today, he's the guy who carried the load when everyone else was in street clothes. What comes next? The Browns will have to navigate the rest of preseason carefully. Injuries to skill players and defensive contributors mean roster spots are already in flux. For Sanders, the goal is simple. Stack good days. Build on Friday night's performance, learn from the mistakes, and show Stefanski that he's more than just a contingency plan. Because if Friday was any indication, Shedeur Sanders isn't just in the building, he's ready to stay.
Can Shedeur Sanders play football in the NFL? Well, let's find out together. No more opinions. Let's talk to the tape. It's 3rd and 9. They're going to come with the 5-man pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man pressure. They're going to play man across the board. Hey, if defense is playing man-to-man, they're turning their back. Shedeur Sanders, he identifies the defense is in man-to-man coverage, so nobody is watching him. He also identifies the defense does not have contain. He escapes out the pocket. On 3rd and 9, he picks up the first down. He slides down to safety. Check for Shedeur Sanders. Let's keep it rolling. All right, here's what I love. You see condensed splits by the Cleveland Browns. Both the receivers are inside the numbers, so they're probably going to want to work outside. Shedeur, you got to identify. Are they in man on defense or are they in zone? Last second, this cornerback, he backpedals, and you can quickly, pretty fairly on tell, okay, they're inside of a pattern match zone. Shedeur, he's going right here with the football, but here is what you have to understand. If this defensive back has eyes on Shedeur and he drops off too quickly, this can be a pick. This can be going the other way. So Shedeur, he gets the ball out of his hands, but the accuracy of this football between not one, but two defenders and a fully outstretched defender, pinpoint perfect. The accuracy of that ball, pinpoint perfect. Can Shedeur Sanders play football in the NFL again? We finding out together. Fans are excited. And there it is. Bang. We've been waiting on the moment. We got to get a watch on the wrist instead of a wristband. Bang. We've been waiting on the moment. Let's keep it rolling. But in all honesty, this play is why Shedeur Sanders should have gotten in the first round. You're going to see his touch. You're going to see his ability to keep his eyes downfield, even when there's a rush. You got 5 receivers wide. That makes the defense show their hand. Okay, I can tell. They're just in a 4-man rush, probably playing cover 4 behind it. It's going to be basic. Shedeur Sanders, don't pressure. Don't get frazzled. Eyes downfield. Here's what I love. Eyes, whole time, downfield. Keep watching it. Even defenders in his face. Eyes, downfield. Watch as he starts to scramble. Eyes, downfield. The whole time, eyes, downfield. Watch him direct that quick subtle point with his left hand, and then now defender rushing to him, but watch it. Bang. I mean, that ball though. Take another look at it. 5 receivers wide. You know it's a 4-man rush. Defense, they have to show their hand. Just watch Shedeur. Eyes downfield the whole time. Just watch his eyes. Watch his eyes. Watch his eyes. Watch his eyes. Boom. And then watch that ball. Throw it where only your receiver can catch it. Can Shedeur play football in the NFL? Well, we kind of found out. Sure looks like it. Ready, break.
Last evening was. Everybody's talking about it right now. Let's talk about it too. Shedeur Sanders. I told you that 144th seal fell upon him in the draft. And the only thing that could have made last night better, because I thought it was perfect, better was if your boy catches that first slant route and Shedeur ends up with 144 yards. He had 138. That slant would have given him another 6 yards. It would have been 144. And I'm sitting here, because I'm watching Shedeur, and of course I'm pulling for Shedeur. That's axiomatic, self-evident. But so when I'm watching the guy run the slant route, I'm the receiver. And I'm getting mad because let me give you guys a little understanding. I grew up in a time where there were quarterbacks up under the center. So the quarterback says, set hut, takes the ball, snaps, he drops 3 steps back, you run 3 steps, and then you slant. So you learn a natural timing up process with the slant. I know. Snap, 1, 2, 3. I got to get ready. He's ready to throw the ball. Boom. I come off the break. Young men today, growing up, and all playing all even the 7-on-7s, and it's all doing great stuff. They don't have a center. So you understand what I'm saying? A lot of times they are a shotgun. And so the kid has to learn to time up, the timing, without understanding the steps. So set hut, ball is in the air. He has to learn timing. What I mean by that, if that receiver comes in too fast, like he did last night,
that first slant route, he comes in too fast. Shedeur is still in his drop and not ready to throw. And then he comes in too fast. You got to get that throw out quickly. That ball went a little high, but the receiver, he touches the ball, but he drops it because he's come so far inside that the linebacker's right there. I try to teach kids, or young receivers, I should say, I call them kids, they're grown, man. I try to teach receivers to understand the timing. That's why I always say it's great to know how to get open. It's even better to know when to be open. So now if I'm running that slant route outside, I'm going to take more time because I want him to get the ball, get his steps, and I want to keep the cornerback out here until the last second when he's ready to release the ball. Then I'm breaking in. You see, now I'm going to catch the ball much wider, which gets me away from worrying about getting hit by a linebacker because I didn't take that one step and go flying in there. I went up the field, held them, and then came up and boom. I mean, it's simple math. To me, it was always simple math because I can control that. I don't have to go so far in towards the linebacker. I can control the cornerback out here. That's next step stuff. Those young receivers did not do that, and they don't understand that. But outside of that, and outside of that little bobble, because he could have gotten that first down if you catch the ball the first time. That receiver caught it the first time. But all of that, I'm so happy with his performance because I saw what I needed to see. And I think a lot of people saw what they needed to see. And a lot of people need to fess up and be real about what they saw. They saw what they had seen in college at Colorado and what they had seen in Jackson. You saw exactly the same thing. A man that understands how to play in pressure situations. And that was a pressure situation. He's throwing, it's almost like Cleveland said, damn, we got to play you. We don't have anybody else. I told you God set that up because the seal of 144. And then he went in there and played like that. So let's just see what happens now. I don't know. Now. Come on. I'm just going to wait. Let's just see what happens. Let's wait to hear what everybody starts saying Monday. Now, very few people would stand up and speak up and say, I was absolutely wrong. Very few people are going to say it. But I would try to tell you, everything you wanted to see, he outran the defensive line and got around the corner because people said he couldn't run. Can't run like his dad. Let me give you a secret. Can't no damn body run like his dad. Not him, not nobody. And let me tell you how I know. I know. So stop with all of that now. The man did a great job eluding rush, standing in the pocket. Remember, he holds on to the ball too long. Remember that old stuff coming out? And I said, well, we can switch that and just say he stares down the barrel and make a play. And he made that play. He stood down the barrel and made a play. Had pressure all around him. Never took his eyes from up the field and always looked to make plays. Damn that.
Can Shedeur Sanders play football?
From pick number 144 to the center of the sports world. How Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut united LeBron, Shaq, and a league of believers. Some nights in sports are about more than the score. They're about vindication. They're about silencing the noise, rewriting the headlines, and proving in real time that your story isn't finished no matter how many people wrote you off. For Shedeur Sanders, the night of August 8, 2025, was exactly that kind of night. The Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback, taken with the 144th pick in this year's NFL draft. A number that once felt like a brand of disrespect, walked into Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, shook off a rocky start, and turned the preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers into a statement game. By the end of it, the numbers told one story: 11 completions on 18 attempts for 103 yards, 2 touchdowns to Caden Davis, and a comfortable Browns win. But the reaction told another. A chorus of support that stretched from NFL circles to the biggest names in the NBA, including LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. The long road to August 8th. Shedeur Sanders' journey to that night began months earlier, long before his first professional snap. For most of his final college season at Colorado, the 23-year-old was projected as a first-round pick. He had the numbers, the arm, the pocket composure, and, yes, the name, son of NFL Hall of Famer and current Colorado head coach Deion Coach Prime Sanders. He also had the swagger that made him a headline fixture. But the NFL draft has a way of humbling even the most hyped prospects. Rumors swirled about his pre-draft interviews, whispers about his readiness for the pro game, and the ever-present speculation about how much his father's fame helped, or hurt, his perception among scouts. The result? A slide no one saw coming. Shedeur fell out of the first round, out of the second, out of the third and fourth. Finally, in the fifth round with the 144th pick, the Cleveland Browns took him. For a player who had dreamed of hearing his name on day one, it was a gut punch. But for a competitor like Sanders, it was also fuel. The pressure of a first impression. Fast forward to the first week of August. Training camp reps had been split. The Browns' quarterback room was stacked with veterans like Joe Flacco, recovering talents like Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel, and fellow depth chart fighters like Tyler Huntley. Every snap for Sanders would matter because every snap was an audition. The preseason opener against Carolina wasn't just a game. It was a chance to start changing the conversation. The game, from jitters to joy, it didn't start perfectly. Sanders' first quarter was choppy, the kind of start that makes rookies grip the football a little tighter. A few passes sailed. A few reads came late. But quarterbacks aren't judged on how they start. They're judged on how they respond. And in the second quarter, Sanders responded like someone who belonged. Drive 1, second quarter. After a muffed Panthers punt gave Cleveland a short field, Sanders delivered a 7-yard dart to Caden Davis, threading the ball through tight coverage for his first professional touchdown pass. The moment was electric, not because of the yardage but because of the poise it took to make it. Drive 2, same quarter. Momentum firmly on his side, Sanders found Davis again, this time on a low, precise 12-yard throw that only his receiver could get. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, same target. By the time the third quarter ended, Sanders had found a rhythm. Moving in and out of the pocket, reading pressure, and delivering throws that suggested he was more than a fifth-round flyer. He wasn't perfect, but he was in control. LeBron James. Keep going up. Among the first to react was LeBron James, the NBA superstar who knows something about living under the brightest lights. Watching from afar, James tweeted, "That young Prince medium dark skin tone looking good out there. At Shedeur Sanders, keep going up. Head down on the grind and head high to the most high raising hands medium dark skin tone." It wasn't just a fan's message. It was a mentor's encouragement, grounded in experience. LeBron himself had seen his son Bronny James endure a slide in the NBA draft, falling to 55th overall in 2024. He understood the mix of pride, frustration, and determination that comes from proving people wrong after a draft day disappointment. Shaquille O'Neal. A father's perspective. Then came Shaquille O'Neal, the Hall of Famer and Lakers legend known as much for his humor as for his dominance on the court. But on this night, his message was heartfelt. On Instagram, Shaq shared a reel of Sanders' first touchdown, followed by a second post that read, "Red Heart, I'm a dad, not a perfect man. I mess up, I fall short, but I'd give my life for my kids without hesitation." The sentiment struck a chord. Shaq wasn't just congratulating Sanders as an athlete. He was speaking as a father, recognizing the weight of expectation and the pride of seeing your child succeed. More NBA stars joined the praise. The support didn't stop there. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks star and vocal Eagles supporter, dropped a triple bicep emoji, flexed biceps medium skin tone, flexed biceps medium skin tone, flexed biceps medium skin tone, on his socials. A simple but strong endorsement of Sanders' performance. Gilbert Arenas, never shy to speak his mind, reshared Sanders' halftime stats on his Instagram story with a fired-up caption, "Let's go." From the NFL to the NBA, the message was clear. Sanders had earned their attention. Why this support matters. For Sanders, this wave of high-profile backing isn't just flattering, it's strategic armor. The draft slide left him open to critics who questioned whether he'd ever make it in the NFL. Every compliment from a LeBron or a Shaq shifts the conversation. It reframes him not as a curiosity or a publicity stunt, but as a legitimate athlete with elite eyes watching his progress. And in a league where public perception can influence opportunity, that's no small thing. From 144 to the spotlight, it's worth remembering that on draft day, Sanders wasn't just overlooked by the Giants, Steelers, Raiders, or any specific team. He was overlooked by 31 franchises, multiple times. That's the kind of slight that can bury a young player or harden them into something more dangerous. In Charlotte, Sanders looked like the latter. He looked like someone who had been waiting months to prove that the number 144 was a misprint, that he was more than the sum of his draft position. The critics remain, but the volume shifted. Not everyone is sold yet. Detractors will point out that it's preseason, that defenses are vanilla, that stats in August don't predict success in December. Sanders himself would probably agree that he has a long way to go. But here's the thing, in sports, moments matter. Momentum matters. And in the moment he was given, Sanders didn't just manage the game, he owned it. The bigger picture. The Browns' quarterback situation is still fluid. Joe Flacco is the steady veteran. Pickett and Gabriel are in recovery mode. Huntley is a proven backup. But Sanders has something none of them can replicate. The combination of youth, hunger, and the gravitational pull of a story people want to watch. He's also got the kind of cross-sport support that keeps cameras on him for better or worse. Final whistle. On August 8th, Shedeur Sanders walked onto an NFL field with a draft number that still hung around his neck like a question mark. He walked off with 2 touchdowns, the respect of his teammates, and praise from some of the biggest names in sports. The critics will talk. The supporters will cheer. And Sanders? He'll go back to work, head down on the grind, head high to the most high, just like LeBron told him. Because if this game was any indication, pick number 144 might just be the start of a much bigger headline. From draft day snub to preseason spotlight, how Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut had his mother calling out Brian Daboll and the Giants. Some NFL stories are slow burns, developing over months or years before they catch fire. Others ignite in an instant, sparked by a single performance or one viral clip. And then there are stories like Shedeur Sanders' preseason debut for the Cleveland Browns. Tales that blend months of controversy, personal motivation, and pure on-field execution into a single, undeniable moment. In early August 2025, the rookie quarterback stepped onto an NFL field for the first time in live competition and, by the time the lights dimmed, had the football world talking. His stat line alone, 14 completions on 23 attempts for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 30-10 win over the Carolina Panthers, was impressive. But the performance's true weight was in what it represented. Redemption, validation, and a pointed rebuttal to those who doubted him, including one very high-profile critic in New York. The Giants' connection that never was. To understand why S.L.R. Sanders, Shedeur's mother, lit up social media after his debut, you have to go back to late 2024, just before Shedeur's final college game in the Alamo Bowl. Back then, Shedeur was the face of Colorado football and already a top NFL prospect. In a move that caught both his fanbase and the football media off guard, he took the field wearing custom red and blue cleats. The color choice wasn't random. It was an unmistakable nod to the New York Giants, the franchise that, at that time, held the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. For many, it felt like an open flirtation. Sanders seemed to be saying, "I want you to draft me." The message was clear, the symbolism deliberate. Giants fans buzzed about the possibility of pairing Sanders with head coach Brian Daboll, who had already developed a reputation as a quarterback-friendly offensive mind. But that potential marriage never happened. The draft slide nobody saw coming. Fast forward a few months. The NFL Combine had come and gone. The pro days were done, and the rumor mill was churning at full speed. Most analysts still had Sanders going in the first round, possibly even the top 10. But draft night had other plans. As the picks ticked by, Shedeur's name stayed on the board. The Giants, holding the number 3 overall pick, went in a different direction entirely, selecting edge rusher Abdul Carter. Later, with the 25th pick, they grabbed Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. The New York media immediately began asking why Sanders hadn't been their guy. That's when ESPN draft analyst Todd McShay dropped a nugget that would become a key part of the narrative. According to McShay, Sanders had an underwhelming private meeting with the Giants. The problem? His preparation for an install package. Essentially, the team giving him a slice of their playbook to study and later review, reportedly fell short. The exchange with Daboll, McShay said, was awkward. The implication was clear. In the eyes of the Giants, Sanders wasn't ready. Daboll speaks and closes the door. When pressed, Daboll didn't directly criticize Sanders, but his comments offered little room for misinterpretation. "Yeah, I'd say we had good meetings with all the guys that came in here for visits," Daboll said at the time. "Quarterback meetings were productive. And, we're happy with Jackson Dart. That was it. No defense, no suggestion that Sanders had been close to their pick." Whatever small chance there had been for a Giants-Sanders union vanished with that soundbite. The Browns step in. The draft continued, and Sanders' slide became one of the biggest storylines of the weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers passed. The Las Vegas Raiders passed. Dozens of other teams multiple times passed. Finally, in the 5th round, the Cleveland Browns took him. By then, 143 players, including 5 quarterbacks, had been selected ahead of him. It was humbling. It was frustrating. And, as it turns out, it was motivating. Preseason heat and breaking stereotypes. By the time the Browns began preseason play in August 2025, Sanders had already heard every narrative about him. Too cocky. Product of his father's hype machine. Couldn't handle NFL-level installs. A celebrity QB without the chops to compete in a real pro system. Then came the shot clock video from NFL content creator Justin Morelli, breaking down how Sanders had shattered many of those stereotypes. The footage showed him moving in the pocket, escaping pressure, delivering throws on the run, and, perhaps most importantly, keeping his composure under NFL speed. S.L.R. Sanders fires back. When Shedeur delivered his preseason performance against Carolina, 2 touchdowns to receiver Caden Davis, precision throws under pressure, and improved pocket movement, S.L.R. Sanders couldn't resist taking aim at those who had doubted her son. She reposted Morelli's video on her Instagram story with the caption, "What was that name out of NYC again?" The jab wasn't subtle. It was aimed squarely at Brian Daboll and the Giants, the team that had not only passed on Sanders but had, in some circles, been painted as dismissive of his abilities. The Josina Anderson factor. It wasn't just S.L.R. who stirred the pot. Former ESPN and CBS Sports insider Josina Anderson also jumped in, reminding her followers of Sanders' pre-draft Giants-themed cleats. Whose cleats did Shedeur Sanders rock before the draft? Don't get it cracking now. Worry about the Bills. Anderson posted on X. The post was both a shot at Giants fans and a sly acknowledgement of how much had changed since those cleats first made waves. Giants fans clapped back. Of course, New York fans weren't going to let the narrative slide. They pointed out, correctly, that the Giants weren't the only ones who had passed on Sanders. In fact, 31 teams had done so, including the Browns themselves 6 times before they finally picked him. The debate raged online. Was Sanders' preseason performance proof that Dable and the Giants had made a mistake? Or was it simply too early to tell? Breaking down the debut. Lost in the social media sparring was just how well Sanders played in his debut. His first drive ended in a quick 3-and-out, the kind of shaky start many rookies face. But once a muffed Panthers punt gave Cleveland great field position, Sanders capitalized immediately, firing a 7-yard touchdown to Davis. On the next possession, he dropped a low but catchable 12-yard dart, again to Davis for his second score. From there, the rookie's confidence grew. He operated both under center and in shotgun, handled simulated pressure packages, and showed flashes of the field vision that made him a star at Colorado. Yes, he held the ball too long on a few snaps, and yes, his deep ball timing needs work. But for a 5th-round pick in his first NFL action, it was an undeniably strong showing. The LeBron James seal of approval. Even NBA legend LeBron James weighed in during the game, tweeting, "And I don't want to hear that it's only preseason BS, 'cause if he was out there not going in, y'all would be on his A about it. So give credit and grace lames." Man shrugging medium dark skin. Coming from one of the most influential voices in sports, the message amplified the sense that Sanders' debut was worth taking seriously. The road ahead. The Browns' quarterback room remains crowded. Joe Flacco is the presumed starter, with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel working back from injuries, and Tyler Huntley also competing for snaps. But Sanders' performance has at least earned him another long look. For now, the rookie is focused on stacking good days, in practice, in preseason, and, if given the chance, in the regular season. And if along the way he makes a few high-profile critics eat their words, well, that's just extra motivation. From cleats to comeback. The image of Shedeur Sanders in red and blue Giants-themed cleats is now a piece of draft lore, a what could have been for New York, and perhaps a what might still be for Cleveland. For Sanders himself, the story isn't about proving one coach wrong. It's about proving himself right. About showing that the skills he believed could thrive in the NFL weren't just college highlights but pro-ready tools. And for his mother, Pilar, it's about protecting her son's narrative and making sure those who doubted him are reminded, publicly, when he proves them wrong. Because in the NFL, receipts aren't just kept, they're posted.
Shedeur Sanders has destroyed the NFL with a huge contract extension no one saw coming. With just one groundbreaking clause, he flipped the league's entire power structure on its head. Now, with millions rolling in and rookies watching closely, the NFL is facing a future it can't control.
He still broke records that your Pro Bowler and Super Bowl contestants haven't even touched in the NFL level.
Shedeur was my 20th player. He's a first-round caliber player. Like, talent-wise, both those guys, I think, have a huge advantage over Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has to be light years better.
The NFL didn't see this one coming. While teams were busy crunching stats and cap space, Shedeur Sanders quietly rewrote the playbook, not on the field, but in the contract room. Everyone thought the buzz was about a massive extension, but the truth is even wilder. But here's the twist. There's no 9-figure headline salary, and yet he's making more money than most starting QBs.
He's an actual proven talent. He's proven that every single team you put him on, he becomes better.
Let that sink in. $250 million in jersey sales. That's not a typo, just his merchandise. And from that, $14 million went straight into Shedeur's pocket. That's not some bonus tucked away in a contract. That's commission. Pure, clean, player-owned money. And what makes it crazier? He's a 5th-round pick, not a 1st-round Golden Boy, not a Heisman winner, a 5th-rounder doing numbers like a global brand.
My expectations have absolutely changed. Absolutely. My expectations have changed because a lot of what we're hearing from Cleveland has changed again.
So why did everyone think he signed a huge extension? Because the money didn't add up. How does a rookie with a $4.65 million deal over 4 years pull in that kind of cash? People assumed it had to be some groundbreaking new contract, and in a way it was, just not the way anyone expected.
The information that was out on Shedeur Sanders came from a lot of people that a lot of people trust and people think that are credible.
It all started with what looked like a basic rookie deal, nothing fancy. 4 years, a little over $1 million per year, only $447,000 guaranteed. Pretty standard for a 5th rounder. No red carpet, no face of the franchise expectations. But buried in that deal was something no rookie has ever pulled off before, something called the prime equity clause. And this is where Shedeur destroyed the system from the inside.
And it's that branding, bro, being a business, a walking business brand. He's a 5th-round pick, and he generated damn near well over $300 million already in merchandise sale.
While most NFL players sign away rights to their name, image, and likeness, Shedeur did the opposite. He said, "I'll keep mine." Not only that, he got 20% of everything tied to his brand. Jerseys, sponsorships, appearances, even digital content. If someone profits off Shedeur Sanders profits too. That's not a salary, that's ownership.
People are trying to assign from a personality standpoint to Shedeur Sanders, and I think that's incredibly unfair to the young man.
And here's where it really breaks the mold, because unlike performance incentives that depend on yards or touchdowns, this clause is tied to who he is, not what he does. He gets paid just for being Shedeur. That flips the entire NFL contract model upside down.
99% of the online scrutiny is because of my dad. And he is exactly right. That's why it was really a mistake.
So when the headline said huge contract extension, they weren't exactly lying. They just didn't understand it. The truth is bigger. He didn't wait for a team to hand him power. He built it into his rookie deal. He created a new model where a rookie can out-earn veterans without throwing a single NFL touchdown, where a player doesn't just get a seat at the table, he owns part of the table.
When we talk about what I saw, no. Let's not be simple.
And now NFL is scrambling, because if one rookie can do this, what's stopping the next 10 or 20? What happens when top picks start demanding equity clauses? What happens when every player realizes they're not just athletes, they're brands? This isn't about hype anymore. It's about control.
Here's the touchdown. Here's the second touchdown, which I thought this was excellent because there's a lot that goes in to this one right here. There's 4 down. It's in the red zone. They're blitzing off the left side. The center, and we saw this yesterday with Anthony Richardson, the center's going right. Shedeur knows he's hot. All right. He trusts just enough 39 to get that block. When he does that, what they're doing is they're running double post. So this tight end down here and this receiver who's going to catch it on the right side of your screen, they switch release. Okay, 81 is going to go run through the free safety, which you're seeing stand on the goal line, and then they're going to have a post, which is going to lean out right, and then move to the center of the field. This is a perfect play versus middle of the field safety. When he does this, okay, he doesn't get spooked. He moves just enough. A lot of younger quarterbacks will get spooked and he'll just run away. He moves a little bit, sets up, sees it, throws a strike. Okay, down low, away, so you don't kill your receiver. I broke this down from him in training camp. What I do like is he's throwing to the left. Okay, he's reading the left, so it's stick routes to the left, and he's able to come back. This is really his fourth read, maybe third if you count it. So he's looking left for the outside receiver, 84, doesn't like it. Then coming to this tight end, probably could have put it on him. He said, hey, you know what? It's first and goal. Let me take a chance. There's a back view on this. Really, really solid first half debut. I don't really care how the second half went. He's going to make things interesting. I mean, that's a scary thought right there as a quarterback. You're like, oh my gosh, is the running back going to come over? 39 needs to get over there much faster. There it is. He sets up. He's playing on his toes. A lot of times you would go and move to your right. Okay, there's that double post. There's that free safety getting taken away. Let's see it one more time from this view. And then the double post, I like the ball placement too. Shedeur Sanders has made things interesting for sure. Look at this. Movement. Come on now. Throws it. He's pumped. We're all excited.
Now he's getting an opportunity. The blitz, it's picked up. Sanders, and it's caught for a touchdown. Caden.
Tony, I be hoping you be, hold on. Tony, I be hoping you got something positive to say about me. You always say negative stuff about me. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing to you. No. I ain't seen nothing positive that you ever said. I do some positive every day. What I'm saying, come on, Tony. What I do? What I do to you, Tony? You know, great ball right now.
Shedeur Sanders balled out in his NFL debut, throwing for 138 yards and 2 impressive touchdowns. If you ask him, though, how he would rate his performance, he wasn't too satisfied and even thinks he let his father Dion down.
I don't feel like, I took full advantage of the opportunity, but sorry, Pops. I ain't do what I was supposed to do fully, but live to see another opportunity.
Fuck, nigga! That was nasty. What you say about? Ree, you with me now? Ree, hold on. Ree, is you with me now? Is you with 12 now? Huh? Is you with 12 now? Prom, your boy out here showing out. Your boy out here showing out, Prom. And I'm with him.
Yeah, you see it. We broke it down. Shedeur Sanders will be the day one starter at week 1 for sure, because the fan base will overwhelm Kevin Stefanski and the organization. They will have no other choice. Either start Shedeur or cut him. This is the Tim Tebow effect. This is the 2025 Tim Tebow effect. Yeah, reincarnated. Either start him or let him go. Just how Tim Tebow won his way to the starting job for the Denver Broncos is the same way Shedeur is going to. It's just the 2025 version. That's all it is. Cleveland. Even the media is going to put the pressure on you. Either start him or release him. And that's facts. Starting Joe Flacco does not make no sense. Period. Kenny Pickett does not make no sense. Dylan Gabriel does not make no sense. Shedeur Sanders. You got to start the quarterback that moves the needle, that moves the press, is going to get the fans in the seats to see you. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback that's going to value and garnish you the most money. You got to start him. Perfect timing. In Shedeur Sanders, we trust. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that like button. Share the live, subscribe, like, subscribe, share the live. It's all free. Support the channel, support the movement. Shedeur Sanders will be the week 1 starter for the Cleveland Browns. Guaranteed. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what to do. Subscribe. Perfect timing.